Well, I've been thinking a lot lately about what gets us from one chord to the next, because I think especially on acoustic guitar, being in the first position, which I mostly work in when I'm doing acoustic, I rarely get way up in the neck. I do sometimes. I'll do a couple high embellishments, but I mostly keep it down in the alley, middle of the alley. So what I do is I have these little connective licks that, they're actually custom made from getting from one chord to the next in a way that is more compelling than just going to the chord. And you'll hear it when I play it. You'll know what I mean. So a typical example, which I've talked about, is doing a pickup, say, from the G to the C. Okay, I just did a lesson for that. Just walk it up. Now, what I want to go further with, though, is while you're in the, you're hammering on the C, just hammering on, and you can actually use that second finger to great effect. So I'm just doing the second fret on the D string, second fret on the G string, and I'm holding my C chord, but it's giving me some extra little special sauce. Heard that before. Then when you get up to your D chord, you can utilize the same sort of move. So what I'm doing is I'm taking my D chord and I'm replacing my third finger with my second finger. And I'm not even worrying about the high E string, and I'm hammering on the fourth fret of the G string. You've heard that before. And if you want, you can go. You can hit that F sharp note. So those are some little licks that you can put in there between chords, and it takes it from sounding very folky to sounding a little bit more contemporary, maybe. It's also old school in a way too, because if you're listening to like early Bob Dylan or any of the Cat Stevens, that kind of stuff, they use these kind of connecting riffs to get from one chord to the next. Sometimes it'll be a walk down. James Taylor's great at that. That's a fun little voicing, and this, all I'm doing here is in these type of lessons is showing you, hopefully, sometimes I call it blues you can use, but in this case it's not necessarily straight up blues. It's just finger style, which is what my favorite way to play, because I think it's expressive. You can claw hammer it or whatever. But going out, I want to show you this one move that I use a lot if I'm going from a G to a D to an E minor. Check it out. And then E minor. And then I walk it back up. So what I'm doing is I've got a G chord, and I'm using my pinky to get that third fret on the high E. And then when I walk it down, I'm going to shift, and I'm going to put my second finger on the second fret of the low E string. My third finger goes to the second fret of the G string, and my pinky picks up the D note, which is the third fret on the B string. So that looks like this. There's that D. I'm not worrying about the high E string right now. And then I'm picking up that F sharp with my second finger. I've done it with my thumb, whatever. Okay? And then an E minor. And then repeat the exact same chord. Okay? Fleetwood Mac, right? So there's a million different licks you can do in the context of a G, D, E minor that are, it's just a fun little progression to get stuff, to do like little tasty little licks in there. Whether you're doing a song by Fleetwood Mac or Chris Stapleton or just one of yours, whatever it is. This is really good information to have, I think. It took me a while to figure this out when I first started playing. I didn't really have anybody to show me. I was like listening to James Taylor and going, what's he doing there? But it really has to do with I think the marriage between a regular chord and a note like this F sharp, it just makes it almost like a piano sound, you know, change the bass notes. So talking about target notes, you know, that's what it is. That's the bass part, really. But the chords, voicing, it's pretty cool. Yeah? Now what I'm going to do is play you out with this, and I'm going to play it fairly slowly, and I'm going to add some licks to it. I don't even know which ones I'm going to do yet, but I think hopefully you'll be able to pick up on it as I go. But the ones I've shown you already, just the... And if you're finger picking, if you're comfortable with that, that's fine. If you can't, that's okay too. It's just like a round and around, right? But if you can get a little finger picking in there, it sounds like a lot more than I'm doing. I'm not doing that much. I'm not really, yeah, I'm switching chords, but now I'm gonna do something. I call interior melodies. And what an interior melody is when you have you're either finger picking or you're more often than not you're finger picking, and then you add some melody to your regular, which is just setting your groove, right? So if you're adding this kind of stuff, all I'm doing is just picking up some high notes on the way, but the core is still this. You gotta get that solid first, and then so that's my connective tissue lesson for the day, and I'm gonna take some deep dives into this because I think, you know, I try to keep it simple in the beginning part, and then maybe add a little bit, because I don't want to lose y'all. But I know I also recognize that there's some intermediate players out there that want, you know, some additional little, I call them, you know, like little cookies that go with the changes in the chords. So hope you enjoyed that. And man, I got to tell you, I'm thrilled to be up here in my studio in Santa Cruz. It's coming together. We moved from Maui, and you know, gosh, some great players around here too, and right in my neighborhood. So it's fun to be back in California, right back where I started from. We'll see you down the road.